We now bring software engineering discipline to endpoint configuration. Instead of clicking through the portal and hoping you remember what you changed, you define configuration as versioned files, review them like code, and deploy them through automation. This lesson is about turning your Intune policies into something you can diff, review, and roll back. Clicking through the Intune portal works for one device once. It does not scale, it leaves no history, and a single wrong click can hit thousands of endpoints. Configuration as code treats your desired state as declarative JSON files, kept in Git and deployed by automation. You gain a diffable audit trail, peer review through pull requests, and rollback to any prior commit. The mental model is simple: the repo is the source of truth, and Intune is just the runtime that the repo deploys to. Always start by capturing what you already have. Graph exposes your configuration profiles as resources you can get, and you serialize each one to JSON with convert to -JSON. Use a generous depth, like 20, because these objects nest deeply and the default depth will silently truncate them. Write each policy to a file, commit that policy's folder to Git, and now you have a baseline you can diff against forever. Never start config as code without first exporting the current state. A quick but critical warning. Convert to -JSON truncates at a depth of just 2 levels by default, and it does so silently. Intune policy objects nest far deeper than that, with settings inside instances. If you forget -depth, you will export JSON that looks fine but is missing most of the policy. Always pass -depth 20 or more, and round trip your export, read it back and compare, to verify nothing was lost. This single flag catches a lot of people out. The heart of config as code is an import that is safe to rerun. It looks the policy up by a stable key, usually the name, then updates it with a patch if it exists, or creates it with a post if it does not. This is idempotency again, the same property we needed for remediations. The test is simple: run the import twice. The first run applies your change, and the second run should report no change at all. If a second run keeps creating duplicates, your import is not idempotent and needs fixing. Wrap that create or update logic in a clean function that takes a policy file path. Add supports should process so you get -whatif for free, letting a reviewer or operator preview exactly what would change before it touches the fleet. The function reads the file, converts it from JSON, looks for an existing policy by name, then patches or posts. Because it is one function, you apply the identical logic to every policy in your repo by looping over the files. Do not hard-code tenant or group IDs inside a policy template. Keep those environment-specific values in a separate parameter file, one per environment, and inject them at deploy time. Now the very same template promotes from dev to prod just by swapping which environment file you load. This is what stops the copy-paste drift where your dev and prod policies slowly diverge until nobody knows what is actually deployed. Templates describe shape, environment files supply the specifics. You can write your own importer, as we have here, or you can stand on existing community tooling. Projects in the Intune Config Manager family and Microsoft's own graph samples wrap this whole export, import, and assign loop, adding backup and reporting on top. Whatever you choose, the underlying principles never change: declarative files as the source of truth, review through pull requests, and an idempotent deploy. Learn the pattern by hand first, then a tool just saves you typing. Let us recap. Configuration as code keeps your desired state in version JSON, reviewed in Git and deployed by automation. Export your current policies with a generous -depth and commit them as a baseline. The import must be idempotent, create or update by name, so a second run changes nothing. And keep environment-specific values out of your templates. Your task: Export at least 2 configuration policies to JSON and commit them. Write an idempotent import -intune policy function with -whatif. Move a target group ID out into a per environment file and inject it, then prove a second run reports no changes. See you in Lesson 6.